Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Sling Hope, and I got another video for y'all. So today it is January 20th, right? Not only is it Martin Luther King Jr. Day, not only is President Trump inauguration, also on January 20th, 2016 was the day that I was released from prison. After serving 20 years, I'm bugging. After serving 7 years in prison, due to my gang involvement, my shooting. Some of y'all know me, a lot of y'all don't. So yeah, I'm grateful to be home. I got off parole in 2018. I had 2.5 years. I never been back to prison, not even for a violation. Never had any issues, right, of that sort. And I'm grateful to that, right? There is statistics, right, that speak about recidivism rates and how people return to prison within 1 to 3 years, I believe, after being released. So I'm grateful that I wasn't part of those stats. I'm grateful that I came home. I didn't return to the street life, to the gang life. I moved in a whole different direction, right? A lot of people doubted me. A lot of people said I would return. I always got to go through this because it's a milestone, right? It's something that I achieved. A lot of people succumb to a lot of things, right? They go home to the same environments. They go home to the same people, and they wonder why they end up in the same situations. So I'm just letting you know, I know a lot of people think they don't have a choice to make, or it's tough, or it's hard, or can't really get around it. But you definitely can. If you, for some reason, you can't move to a different neighborhood or a different place, then stop hanging around the same people. You don't have to necessarily hang around the same people when you come home. You can hang around different people. You can hang around in different places, right? So go to different spaces, right? So it's not necessarily where your body's at, right? It's where your mind is at. I tell people that all the time. Even when I was in prison, right? My body was trapped in a certain place. It was confined, but my mind was free, or my mind was becoming free. So one thing I will say is, I'm not as strong as I was on my deen. I'm definitely a struggling Muslim today. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of stuff that's going on out here, right? It's not an excuse. It's just the realities of life, right? And you got to choose your company wisely when you out here. You got to stay with the community, stay around the Muslims, if you really want to succeed. And sometimes when you veer off that track, it becomes very hard for you to hold on. I'm still a believer in Islam. Islam definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. It made me a man in a certain sense. It taught me how to emotionally regulate myself, right? When I get upset, when I got angry, when I felt sadness, when I feel certain deep emotions, right? I turn to the book of Allah and the traditions of his messenger, and they allow me to be able to, regulate some of the things that I might have been feeling, or some of the things that I might wanted to do in certain situations, right? It definitely taught me how to have some kind of discipline, and not solely rely on what people thought, peer pressure, or I had to do something because people were watching and stuff like that, right? So it taught me not to care about certain things and pay attention to the big picture. So it's definitely a major contributor to what's going on today. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that's been going on. Some of the things that happened, they killed this brother, Robert Brooks, I believe, something like that. If I'm mistaken, tell me in the comment section. And it just brought a lot of memories that happened, that had took place, because we was in the same prison, right? I believe his situation happened in Marcy, which is that whole hub is in the middle of New York, right? It's not too far from Syracuse. It's like about 45 minutes from Syracuse University. And he was transferred from Mohawk facility. He was transferred from Mohawk facility. By the way, anyway, before I continue, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been purchasing my book. A lot of people have been, supporting in the endeavor. I really appreciate it. People that is like reading my story and looking at the highlights in my book. I appreciate the support. So I just want to shout y'all out. Y'all know who y'all are. If you're interested in getting the book, the link is in the description below. Also, there's a documentary, We Came to Heal, that you can go look at. Because like I said before, our communities, they need a lot of healing, man. They have gone through a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of like disadvantages. And we gotta repair that harm, that miscommunication, that distrust, all of those issues that we have with as family, friends, or just the community in general. But back to what I want to talk about. Yeah, so the brother Brooks, he came from Mohawk Correctional Facility, which was the facility that I was in serving my time. And he went from Mohawk to Marcy. And the irony is that like these things happen all the time. Like we're just now really hearing about these things. In 1997, I believe, or 1994, there was a riot in Mohawk Correctional Facility because they killed an inmate in the box, right? And we tend not to really use the word inmate. Is really dehumanizing in a way, right? Because the reason that these guards get away with doing some of these things is because they don't view us as people, right? They don't view us as humans. They view us as somebody less than, because once you go to prison, your rights is stripped, right? But that doesn't mean you stop being a human, right? But this is just the mindset that you need to pay attention to, right? Just because you made a mistake and you end up in a situation where you got to do some time does not make you not human, right? But a lot of times that is like the mindset of not just our government, but also the people, right? There's people out here in the streets who, on one hand, they could understand when somebody makes a mistake, when they make other mistakes. And then the other hand, they're condemning people for life. It don't matter if you change your ways. It don't matter if you seek education, seek redemption. They don't care. You did something wrong at some point, and they forever hold that against you. But anyway, there was a riot in 1997 in Mohawk, and it was because the prisoners, they stood up. Again, another language, right? We use the term people who are formerly incarcerated or incarcerated, people serving time, because we want to humanize the people. They're still people, even though they have made mistakes or they have made certain decisions that landed them in a certain place. So there was a riot because the people that were serving time, they had enough, right? They came together, and usually what they'll do is they'll put you in the box. They'll take you to the SHU, right? Because in the SHU, usually there's not really cameras. It's secluded. They get away with doing a lot of things to you, right? Which is foul. That's how foul they are. So they're very strategic in where they're going to do something to you, right? When you in the mountains, when you in them prisons, which is why it's important for family to be reaching out to loved ones, right? It's very important for family, whether you visit, whether you send letters, it's highly important, because when they notice that people are not reaching out to you, when they notice that you're not really getting mail, you're not really getting no support, that's something that also not encourages, but it makes them feel like, oh, well, if something happened to this dude, like, it's nobody checking for him. It's nobody looking out for him. So that's just something to keep in mind if you got loved ones in there. So something in the box, they took somebody in the box, and I don't know what the issue was with this person in the box, but they ended up killing him. And I think they tried to say that the person hung themselves. right? Kind of like Sandra Bland, right? They try to say the person hung themselves. The nurses be covering stuff up. Like, a lot of those people in those towns are related. They family, right? So what they do is they cover up each other. Like, the superintendent of the jail might be related to the warden. The warden's related to a few guards or a few teachers that teach, vocational instructors, the court judges. Like, look, like, it's them small towns, a lot of people know each other. They either went to the same schools, they're buddies, or they're relatives, or somebody is married, there's an in-law to somebody else. That's how a lot of times them small towns work. So they cover each other's tracks very well, and it's very hard to catch them a lot of times. I'm even surprised that they had body cams. I'm actually, that might be a good thing, right? Because that's where the footage was captured, on body cams. But this is the thing that I'm trying to communicate. This thing's been happening to people. People been going to prison, getting forgotten, and then things happen to them, right? A lot of times them guards be looking for right? For recreation. They be bored on the job, and they be starting trouble with people, right? They look to see who they gonna disrespect, who they gonna violate. Like, I seen guards just slap dudes, or try to antagonize you, or try to trigger you to do something so that they can harm you in certain ways. So I seen it all, right? They even try to do that to me at one point. They had me, I was working in the kitchen in the mess hall, and one day, like, the sergeant came in there. He just used to come in there bugging out sometimes. So one day he just came in there bugging out, and he was trying to mess with me. He also didn't really like the Muslims like that, and he knew he would see me around a few times. So anyway, he tried to mess with me one day in the kitchen, like try to boss me around, give me like, oh, do this because I said so. I did my job already, and he was still trying to like have me do extra stuff. And by the end of the shift, when everybody's leaving the mess hall, what he tried to do is he told one of the officers poured water all over the tables that I had to wipe. So he had the officer pour water over like 6 tables. And I swear to you, man, the moment that happened, I was like fuming. I remember like I was fuming because I'm like, yo, they playing with me, and like I literally had to turn around because I didn't want them to get the satisfaction that they was really getting to me, right? So I turned around because I still have one rag, and I'm wiping with the other rag, but they grabbed the other bucket. And as I turned around, I'm just like infuriated. My blood started to boil. You know when you get upset and you just start feeling your adrenaline pumping and your blood rushing? Like, I started to get hot, right? And I'm just like, yo. And I remember, like, one of the things I always used to ask God when I was in there, man, I always used to beg to please never put me in a situation where these dudes disrespect me in a certain way, specifically with putting their hands on me. Now, you might say some verbal stuff, or you might do some like funny stuff like what they did, but I always pray to God, man. I always said, please do not put me in a situation where these dudes think they're gonna slap me and that I'm not gonna do nothing about it, because like I fear that I'm just not gonna make it home. I'm either gonna get more time, or I'm just not gonna make it home. They're gonna kill me in here, because I'm not no tough guy or none of that. Matter of fact, I am tough, right? I am tough, but I don't walk around starting trouble with people. I don't walk around acting like I'm the toughest, because I'm not the toughest. You get what I'm saying? So, and I know things can happen to me. I'm human. I'm immortal, right? I could bruise. I could get hurt. Like, I understand that. So I always begged, man, because I was just like, I just don't know how I'm going to respond if one of these dudes slap me. I don't think I could hold that down. I don't think I could hold this slap down and just walk off like nothing happened. So I always used to pray and beg that these things didn't happen to me. So I remember that, right? And I know they were trying to trick me on my spot. They was trying to get me to react, because as soon as the dude poured the bucket of water over the tables, it was like about 7 of them by the entrance just watching me, just looking at me. Just looking at my reaction. At first, I didn't notice them while he was doing the water stuff. But then when I looked to the side, they all was just there, like posted up, like just watching me, right? Just looking to see what I was gonna do or if I was gonna respond a certain way. And I was just like, yo, like I told you, my emotions was all over the place. I didn't say nothing. And then the dude said, get to work. I was just like, and what I did was, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I smiled at them. Kill him with kindness. He did all that, and I know I was fuming, and what I did was I just smiled at them. And then I went over there, I grabbed the bucket, and I had the rag, and I started to wipe one of the tables down. You know, and they was more upset than I was upset at that point because they didn't get the reaction that they wanted out of me, right? I know what you're trying to do. Like, for example, what they did with this brother Brooks. It says that he was cuffed while they was beating on him. You could see it on the video. Excuse me. Also, a thing that they mentioned that they was kicking him in the groin area. One of their favorite things to do is kick you in your nuts, man. They love that. They got a thing where like they will have somebody hold your legs open and they will kick you in your nuts repeatedly. There's accounts of brothers talking about how they were peeing blood, like, you know, because they got kicked in their nuts so many times by the officers, right? Another thing that they like doing is kicking teeth out. They love knocking out your teeth. There's a story about a guard, I don't know if it was in Clinton or one of them other jails, that he used to have a jar of just collecting teeth. You know, and I think they used to use that as scare tactics, you know. It's a lot of foul stuff, man. I knew another brother that said they got this rule in prison where they tell you, do not take your hands off the wall. Like, if they pull you over, I said pull you over, but they really cops in there, you know. So if they stop you and pull you to the side until you put your hands on the wall because they want to search you, you know, they got this thing where they'll tell you do not move your hands off the wall, right? And the way that they put you on the wall is they'll bring your legs back, they'll put your hands on the wall leaning forward, and they'll pull your feet back so that you could be unbalanced, you know, for the most part. They want you to be on balance. So they'll search you, and they'll also at the same time tell you do not remove your hands off the wall, right? And my bro told me that they used to have a guard. I never experienced this, but he was telling me they had a guard that she'll be pinching your nuts. She used to do this thing where she would pinch your nut with the hopes that you took your hands off the wall so they could beat on you, because that's what they used to do. The moment you take your hands off the wall, they'll try to act like you was a threat to them. Kind of like the police out here. Same tactics, right? The moment you do a sudden movement, or you reaching for the wallet, or you move or something, you do something funny in the car, they'll say they were scared for their life, and they'll harm you. Use the same tactics. That's what I say. They just like the police, right? They are the police in there. So it's a lot of tactics that they do. So back to they love, the two things they like doing in there is kicking you in the nuts and kicking your teeth out. And they used to wear these steel-toe boots, like construction type, right? For those purposes, right? That's like their thing. That was like their favorite thing. So it just brought back memories of just combating certain things when you're in there. Because not only do you have to worry about the people serving time that are stressed, that are depressed, that are like of the criminal mind, that are thinking about extorting people or thinking about just harming people. Not only do you got to protect yourself from them people, you also got to be wary and mindful of the police that's in there. You got to be mindful of they coming to work bored, or they had a bad day at home and now they trying to take it out on the people that's just trying to serve their time and go home. Now, granted, there's some people who are not trying to just serve their time and go home. They in there extorting people, never learned their lesson, still doing the same thing. But just listening to the story of this person getting killed, and the fact that I was in the jail, in the prison that he was in, and I was closed in that area, it's just sad, man, that stuff like this is still kind of happening. Hopefully, not only do they get fired, but they also go to jail. And they probably, and I hope that if they do go to jail, don't put them in PC, man. Don't put these officers in protective custody, man. It's foul. Like what they doing there, like some guy, the dude that violated me so bad, like I felt so violated that like sometimes I be thinking about that dude, and I'm like, yo, I should drive up there. And I know sound a little crazy, but like it's just like they violate so much, man, that sometimes even when you go home, you be thinking about like, yo, they really violated me. And I never got smacked, or I never got, went through any of those things, but it was just those little things, like that story that I told you, like how he was talking to me, like, and how they purposely, they was looking for me to jump so that they could jump on me and beat on me, man. That was foul. That was really foul. It used to be another captain. He was in the biker gang. And his thing was like, he used to love going around slapping dudes. And this is the kind of stuff that I talk about in my other videos, like dudes be gangbanging, dudes be blood, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm Patria, or I'm Crip, or I'm Latin King, or I'm doing this. But it's like, man, when them guards step to dudes and smack the shit out you, a lot of them dudes was not doing nothing. A lot of them dudes was not doing nothing. Nothing. They took that rah-rah. You quick to violate your people. You quick to harm your people over chicken, over pantry goods, over their sneakers, over their commissary. You quick to do that to the defenseless, to the people that ain't gonna do nothing to you. And some people do fight back, but it's like the people that blatantly be disrespecting you, the officers, the guards, the people that blatantly don't like you because of maybe your skin complexion, or because you committed a crime that you're doing the time for, or because they just want to get recreation because they bored up there in them towns. The people that really you should be having that energy for, you, we don't have that energy for them. We don't have that energy for them, and that's what I hate. That's what I dislike. I dislike that, man, because I seen it. I seen dudes that was talking like they was on that rah-rah time, that belong to some of these organizations and these groups, get smacked up by guards and never do nothing. Never do nothing. Situations like this is when them organizations should be stepping up. Like, we gonna turn up. We gonna turn up. But most of the times they not, man. We soft, we butt. Times have definitely changed. It's sad, man. It's really sad. It's really sad. So just, I'm just happy that I'm still home. Like, I never want to go back to that place, man. Ever. Ever, man. So much stuff that be going on in there that we don't even get to hear. I never want to go back to that place, ever. That's something that I reminded myself every day. I don't want to, I never. That's why when I heard people talk about, oh, that spot is sweet. Oh, man, this jail over here was good money. Or like, I be looking at dudes disgusted. I don't ever want to catch myself talking about this jail was sweet, or that spot was nice, or like, I won't ever want to have that many bids under my belt. I don't ever want to have that many bids under my belt, man. But my condolences to the family. Hopefully they get the justice that they deserve, and the retribution. And may them guards get whatever they deserve, man, what's coming to them. Word. Whether they get it in this life or the afterlife. May they get what they deserve, man, because they foul up there. And like I said, man, make sure you like or you subscribe. And you can purchase the book. Like I said, the link is in the description. But let me know what y'all thoughts are on the video. And y'all stay blessed out there. And be safe, man. Because you never know. could always end up in this situation too, where you could get harmed up there.